So Mathias de Ligt is the main centre-back Mikel Arteta wants in January 2024, and Arsenal are willing to sell Jakub Kiwior in January in order to create space in the squad, but also to raise funds for us to sign Mathias de Ligt. Now, we're going to be diving into that story because it's a big one. It comes in from the CBS. Peter Oruk, one of those big journalists at CBS, confirming that Arsenal will be selling Jakub Kiwior in order to sign the big man Mathias de Ligt. It's a very controversial story, but it's one that I really, really do like because it has all the elements of Arsenal improving. Mathias de Ligt is such a huge centre-back, a huge transfer, a huge signing, and he would bring a lot at Arsenal. Despite the fact that I didn't agree that Mikel Arteta needs to go in the market for a centre-back, if you're letting go of Jakub Kiwior and bring in Mathias de Ligt, that could be a very, very good complexion. So I want your thoughts there. Do we sell Jakub Kiwior? Have you had enough of him? Have you seen enough of him to actually go, let him go, he's not good enough? Or do you think there is a huge centre-back there and Arsenal are making a huge mistake? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions as well in the comment box below. Of course, we'll be talking about Eddie Nketiah because according to the Daily Mail, Sami Makbo says that Arsenal have received offers from Crystal Palace for Eddie Nketiah, and we have turned all offers down. So it looks like Mikel Arteta wants Eddie Nketiah to stay. Whether we get a striker or not, Eddie Nketiah is going to be staying in January. And then we have a couple of offers for Reece Nelson from Sevilla and Wolves as well. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. I'll be bringing you the latest around Arsenal, the transfer window, Arsenal news, injuries, and everything right on this channel. Right, so let's get into it. Jakub Kiwior is going to be one of the players that Arsenal sell in January in order for us to boost our chances of signing the big man there, Mathias de Ligt. Now, this is a very complicated story. Mathias de Ligt is 24 and one of the biggest profiles in young centre-backs. So if you look at if you look at any list, he's top 10 centre-backs, like top 10. And at the moment, I don't think there is a club that wouldn't sign him. However, there is a twist to that. He's going to come at a very expensive, fee. He might cost around 50 and above. And that is where I don't understand Arsenal, and that's where I don't agree with Mikel. If we want to bring in Mathias de Ligt for about 50 million and above, whether it's now or in the summer, why don't we get that money and splash it on a bloody striker? Because that is where we don't have options, right? That is where we don't have, enough strength. I mean, that is my opinion. So let's talk about de Ligt and Kiwior. So the first story actually comes in from CBS, and they're saying that my man Jakub Kiwior is one of the players that will be leaving Arsenal this January because Arsenal want to strengthen at the back, and Mikel Arteta has been told he can't strengthen without letting some of the players he has go. So it is more likely that Jakub Kiwior is going to be creating space for Mathias de Ligt at Arsenal. Kiwior came in January this year, and I am not really sure I've seen enough for me to judge. I've not seen him in very good moments, and I've not seen him in the worst moments as a centre-back. I thought this season he would actually get some time, play some good football and enough football for us to be able to gauge and judge. Is he top centre-back levels? Is he mediocre levels? Is he trash as well? I don't think he's trash, according to what we have seen. I also do not think he is a player that we should be getting rid of now, especially now that we have around 4 or 5 options to fill in January. If you're saying that you do not have enough centre-backs and you want to sell one of your centre-backs who is actually good, like Kiwior, is not. I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be really scared if Jakub Kiwior starts in a game for Arsenal. He's not Rob Holding, he's not Senderos, he's not Squillaci, he's not one of those guys. He's one of the good guys, and I believe you can rotate him with Gabriel Magalhaes, and you keep a consistent level of quality. So if Arsenal want to get rid of him January and bring in another centre-back, just doesn't make any sense for me. It really does not make any sense for me. We are trying to heal a wound that is actually already healed, and we are ignoring a wound that is literally open. It is not even in recovery mode. It's actually open. Our goal scoring problem is an open wound that needs surgery. And literally, we are trying to, pluck off the membrane on the defensive wound, and we're trying to say, wow, look at this. This is a very fresh wound. We've got to go and and treat this. So I like Delete. I really do. But I just don't think the approach is right. I don't think the timing is right, right? Delete is going to take a lot of time for us to sign. That is number one. And then number two, we already have someone who can give us maybe half of what Mathias Delete does, right? Does Mikel aim at winning the Champions League? And maybe that's why he wants Mathias Delete, strengthen your defense, for him to go, now I can play Madrid. Now I can play Bayern. Now I can play Atletico Madrid. Does he want to do that? Oh, probably yes, probably no. I'm not really sure. But either way, the story really doesn't make a lot of sense. If it is true, and Peter O'Rourke is right, then Arsenal are really, really surprising this window. Now, let's talk Mathias de Ligt as a player and Arsenal. What are we going to tell him? When you come in, you will be a starter. Because his problem at Bayern is not playing, football. His problem at Bayern is he's not bored. He's not bored of winning. He's not won anything at Bayern. And therefore, we can't promise him that, listen, we are giving you more competition, and we are, we are guaranteeing different trophies. He's not won anything. He would love to win things at Bayern, and Bayern is a big side. So there is a chance for him to win the Bundesliga. There is a chance for him to win the DFB Pokal, and there is a chance for him to win the Champions League at Bayern. So if Arsenal is saying, we will give you Champions League football, Bayern already do. We will give you a chance to win the league, Bayern already do as well. So how do we attract him, and what do we tell him? I think it's going to be one thing. We will give you the chance to play every single day, every minute, so that you actually get better. And to do that, one of our centre backs has to go, and that's Jakub Kiwior. I like Mathias de Ligt. I think he's I would be envious of any Premier League side that actually signs him. But at the moment, I would rather him go to Liverpool, who need a centre-back quickly, and then Arsenal wait until the summer and get Gonzalo Inacio, and then focus on the real deal in January. That is, our forward line. I don't have a problem with I don't have a problem with Mathias de Ligt. Good centre-back, very young, fits into the profile. I think he does what Jakub Kiwior and Gabriel do combined, right, on his good day. But are we going to really trust a guy who has gone to Bayern, flopped a little bit, has been at Juventus and flopped a little bit? Are we going to really trust him with our last games of the campaign? Is that what we're going to do? I'm waiting. I'm really going to wait and see. But I don't think Bayern are really going to be openly willing to selling. But I think it's a deal that can actually happen, by the way. I think many people have underestimated Arsenal's negotiation and ability to, talk in deals. I think it's a deal that we can mean to make happen. I think it's a deal that Arsenal can go, we will give you a guarantee that we will pay this amount of money in the summer for Mathias de Ligt, because it's a win-win situation for Arsenal, right? It's a win-win situation for Arsenal. You're getting a good centre-back on loan, and you already like the guy. You've scouted him for some time. He's better than Nico Scholterbeck, who's at Borussia Dortmund. So what do? Get him on loan and tell Bayern, we will pay no matter what happens. And Bayern will be willing to let some cash flow in after signing Harry Kane for a huge amount of fee. They will be willing to get some of that money back. And I think Bayern also have their own problems that they will have to spend money on. So it would be a win-win situation. But I would love to see how we deal with this. I would really, really love to see how we deal with this. Kiwior going, not an option for me, but it looks like it is a very good option for Mikel Arteta. And we've talked about a significant sell. We've talked about Arsenal willing to sell significantly in January. Looks like my boy Jakub Kivio that will be part of that significant sell. Now, talking about selling and significant offers, Arsenal have received offers from Crystal Palace for Eddie Nketiah, and those offers have actually been turned down. This one is a very, very interesting one because I thought we wanted to sell. I thought we were looking for money to raise funds in order to go and sign some of the quality out there. I thought we are going to be ruthless in January. I thought this was the time for us to go. Now it is time for us to be ruthless. It doesn't look like Mikel Arteta is willing to be ruthless with this guy, Eddie Nketiah. So Arsenal have decided that they will not sell Eddie in January, and they have told Crystal Palace that he is not available until the summer. That is when he will be considered available, or that's when we can actually, talk about him being available. With Eddie, you know my thoughts on him. You know what I think about him. Many people have said I'm harsh. Many people have said I don't like him and all that. But Eddie Nketiah himself, he knows. When Arsenal are trailing 2-0 against West Ham, you will bring him on and he will try, one of the worst volleys in the world, and he will not score. And for me, that game against West Ham highlights where Arsenal are and where we should be going. We brought on Eddie Nketiah and there was zero impact. Zero impact. I think he's one of those strikers that come onto the pitch and you're lucky when they have an impact. You're not surprised when they actually do not. So it surprises you when Eddie comes on to change a game and he actually changes it rather than being surprised when he comes onto the pitch and he actually does nothing. So how much would Eddie get, selling Eddie give us? I'm looking upwards of 40 million or probably 35 million, right? Because I think Crystal Palace in January, they'll be looking to spend around 30 million. And by the way, Crystal Palace have the cash. Like, you look at their recent transfer windows, they've brought in Jefferson Lama on a free. They have signed Mathias as well, not very expensive. And they've also brought in Dean Henderson. So they're a side that has not spent a lot of money, and they would love to bring in at least a good striker. So they have the money. When they say we are going to sign Eddie Nketiah, who has just signed a new deal at Arsenal, it means they have the money, and they have looked at his profile, and they're like, this could be the guy, right? This could be our man. So for Arsenal to turn down 35, 40 million, 45 million in Eddie Nketiah, in order for us to keep him alongside Gabriel Jesus, it is laughable. It's laughable, right? It's laughable because it shows lack of ambition, it shows lack of direction, and it shows that we are not ready for the next big stage, right? I bet you this. If Liverpool wanted a striker, they would sign Cody Gakpo, and they did in January this year. That is what you call a top side with a top mentality. Cody Gakpo literally had just, starred at the World Cup in 2020. What PSV would have done, they would wait and sell in the summer. Liverpool went in there and they talked to Cody Gakpo and they told him, listen, boy, you've got to come to Liverpool and this is your big chance to join a big club right now. And Cody Gakpo said, listen, I'm your captain. I've got to go. I've got to leave PSV. And that is how they signed him. And look at the guy. I think he's going to be a phenomenal striker at Liverpool. He's going to be a phenomenal player at Liverpool than even Darwin Núñez. So if Liverpool are keeping hold of Eddie Nketiah in January, and if Arsenal are keeping hold of Eddie Nketiah in January, and Liverpool are signing Cody Gakpo in January, that is the only difference you need to know. That is the difference in mentality and difference in level that you need to see. I think Arsenal are not yet there at that ruthless stage where you go, where is Dusan Vlahovic? 70 million come here. Jakub Kivio out of the door. Eddie Nketiah out of the door. We are now replacing you with Dusan Vlahovic. That is the mentality. That is the top mentality we should be looking at. I don't think we are there yet, right? So Eddie stays. I won't be surprised if he stays even in the summer because Mikel likes him. He's a Mikel boy. Mikel loves him, likes him. It's a no-brainer. He's Mikel's boy, so he stays, right? He stays. No goals. I think he scored 5 or 6, like in many games. Gabriel Jesus, 7 games in 20 appearances in all competitions, 3 in the Premier League. What can we say? It's the kind of strike partnership we have, and it's not good enough, and we are not willing to let it go. Finally, Reece Nelson, Sevilla and Wolves are interested, and they want him on loan. I wouldn't do that. I think Sevilla are desperate, but they don't have the money to buy him in January. Wolverhampton Wanderers, they're desperate. They are losing players to injuries. They would love to strengthen, but they don't have the money as well to buy Reece Nelson in January. So I would keep him at the side if no one is making a very good offer. If it's loan deals, give him to us, with an option to buy. Just keep him at the side to make sure that we have enough depth. But I would sell him if a good offer comes. But I don't think Mikel Arteta is looking in that direction. I don't think we are going to be industrious this January. It looks like a conservative January. It looks like a quiet January, right? It's not a January where we might break the bank. It's a January where we go, we have to sell to buy. Do we want to sell Eddie? No. Do we want to sell Emil? No. Do we want to sell Partey? No. Do we want to sell Ramsdale? No. So who are we going to sell? No one. Who are we bringing in? Or potentially 1 player on loan or 2 players on loan, and that could do the trick. It won't do the trick. Against Man City, against Liverpool, against all these sides in the Champions League, it won't do the trick. Right? It won't. So hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel as well. Keep yourself locked on to the podcast because I have some interesting programming coming your way as well. I'll speak to you very, very soon. But that is where we are. That is where we stand. Looks like Eddie is staying in January. And Jakub Kiwior is subject to be sold if Arsenal really are preparing an offer for Mathias de Ligt. I'll keep you posted.